Mergers and moving. Two words any employee of a company fears to hear, especially if their resume isn't current. Companies can be solvent one day and into the poop bin the next day. Yes, I was at a company for 20 years and they moved. Did they move me? No. And we were all union, 300 of us. What they did is very simple. They slowly moved the company to the new location, which was in another state. And people that were with the company for 40 years, oh yeah, they're going to take me. And they were told basically, no, we're not going to take you. We're going to get the locals. At half your salary, we're going to get the locals. That didn't work out very well either. The locals were not. So what happened? Basically, one of our union stewards, went down to the new company, the new areas, and talked to some of the workers down there, and saying, "Well, we're making $10 an hour over here." A long time ago, $10 an hour over here, and they're moving the company. Oh, and they're paying us $5 an hour. Oh, of course it's Indiana and they can't that thing. Oh, they kind of supplemented their salary. Everything vanished. Well, basically that thing is the company moved. They slowly moved. I know I was in maintenance and I used to deliver boxes to the department that was basically, you walk in there on a Friday with a cardboard box and you sit whenever you're on the desk. It was the accounting department, and they asked, what was this for? What do you think? Yes, that's the reaction. And the whole department, basically, somebody came around and gave them their basically retirement slips. Sorry, your job is no longer needed. That whole area became vacant. Wow, did that have a ripple effect? And how many jobs are in the office are going to be retired? Well, the president of the company was working there all his life, and he said, basically, key people will move and everybody else will be replaced. That's a moving. That wasn't a merge, that was a moving. Of course, eventually the company just went out of business. It was, but see, that little company was owned by another bigger company, was owned by a bigger company. See, because it was owned by a bigger company, was owned by a bigger company. So the little guys are way on the bottom. That company was been around for 100 years. Yes, it's been around for 100 years. But, a lot less than 100 years. But technology changed. Computer technology changed. What was needed, 5 people was needed before the computer came in. And when the computer came in, like an Apple computer, 5 jobs were eliminated. So somebody sitting at a computer keyboard can do this, take a floppy disk and hand it to somebody in the main main computer room, and then you tied all the computers on the desk into the mainframe, hardwire the stuff in. Technology changed. And those jobs basically were moved into Indiana. Now, what about mergers? Oh, that's bad. Somebody has to be fired. Yes, the company I worked at, next company I worked at, had a habit of getting companies that from other companies, or taking them over, basically buying their stock and taking them over, and then you just simply move the plant somewhere else. Bagels, I think it was. Was it bagels? Yeah, Maine from Massachusetts to Illinois. And that thing. And because over there, they sold the bagel division from another company. Food companies, take one and sell the other one. Well, it's all of our line. And they just picked up the whole plant and moved it here with key people in manufacturing came with the plant. What happened to the rest of them? They're not needed. You could just train a guy to stand like me, stand there and do the work. And what happens when it didn't make enough money? They sold it to somebody else. Somebody else got it. Kraft, I worked at Kraft. I saw an ice cream division. Go. They sold it. It didn't make double digits. So they sold it to somebody else, who I believe sold it to somebody else. And the key people there, the company that bought Breyer's ice cream, walked in there, looked around, looked in the labs, looked at the people, and said, "We want the freezers." What do you mean? We don't want any of this stuff. We don't want the people. We don't want the equipment. We don't want them. We just want the big freezers. Oh, the ice cream was delicious. That's true. They did not take the people. When the Kraft Foods, Kraft Food used to have in Glenview, they used to have this great, they owned the whole building. And then they started shrinking in size. And they moved that building to another location. And when they merged with another food company, right, a lot of people who had jobs there didn't have jobs. Sorry guys, you're not coming with us. And it rippled effect. I knew people working in other divisions of Kraft, and because you meet them, food shows and what have you. And the guy said, I was there for 25 years, and my job just went bye-bye. I got a good pension out of it. Kraft, one thing about that Kraft Foods, they had some great pension benefits, depending where, yeah. And they offered me. I remember that when my job was going away. I said, "Oh, what am I going to do at this age?" They offered me a 3-year salary. What happened? I didn't take it. What happened? My job went away. What happened? So did I. But you already knew your job is going away. Did we merge? No, didn't merge. My job just went away. Well, it's a lot of people's jobs just go away. And merging is the same thing. There's a company called Mars Candy. Recently I saw something in Cranes. And they're moving their operation into Chicago. Where is it? Goose Island? Yeah, Goose Island. So they're up. They slowly did it before from, I guess, Oak Park, the suburbs, into Chicago. They got a great deal, and a lot of the research is going into Chicago. And are they going to take the people with them? Could be. And Mars is another great company to work for. I hear their pensions are fabulous. I know a guy whose brother was a past executive of that, and he retired with 6 figures. Think of that. Pension. Pension? Pension? He makes more a week than I would make on a month. What? A pension? Yeah, some companies are like that. Get your pension. Well, U.S. Post Office. I know people retired from the U.S. Post Office. Wow. Pension? You get what? They said, well, yeah. They retired with the U.S. Post Office, and there's a state of Illinois that I live in. There are people who put in 20 years in this division in the state, and then they quit that job and go into another job, or maybe it's 10 years, but a bunch of moving around. 10 years here, and they moved to another 10 years here in another part of the state of Illinois, and they get pension. They maybe get 4 pensions. There are people who are pulling in $100,000 a year or more on pensions. Well, the state is running out of money. I think it's 4,000 people they got. I think they spend $400 million a year on pensions. And these people are making over $100,000 a year as pensions, which is ridiculous. But I guess having trips around the world every year, buying a new Lexus or Tesla. But that's the thing about mergers. You may go with the company if you're valuable, and usually you're not. Oh, but I've been here for 20 years. Yes, and you are taking 2 months vacation at the company's expense. That's another one you got to look at. When I was working there for the 10 years, I had 3 weeks vacation. If I had 15 years, I would have 4 weeks vacation. If I had 20 years, I would have 5 weeks vacation. And when you get people who are making $100,000 a year at a company, that's expensive or more for people working. And mergers are that thing. You just eliminate all these people on a merge. All these expensive people on a merge. Of course, when you move, you leave a lot of people behind. And you just hire them anew. The old saying, Black Tuesdays in the company was, you came in Monday, and Tuesday they laid you off. Why? Why did you come in Monday? Because people would have a habit of taking their computers home with them. And then they bring them back on Monday, with Saturday and Sunday are off. They work on their computers, and they bring the stuff back on Monday, and you lay them off Tuesday. But the computers are back in the company. Well, that's when computers cost a lot of money. But how about mergers? Yeah. I've seen, when I was working in their company, I've seen people get laid off. They got hired 1 month, they get laid off the next because they had to cut budgets. That's another big problem. Keep your resume handy because you never know. I have a job today, I don't have a job tomorrow. I had a job on a Friday, and I didn't have a job on a Monday. Courteous of the fire department. But hey, I already knew. And when you work as a temporary for other companies, that's the same thing. As a temporary, as a chemical engineer in other companies, you look at the company and you say, by the way, did you read Cranes? What do you mean? Did you read Cranes about your company? No. Well, before I came here, I did some research on your company. Your stock is being bought by a European conglomerate. Oh, when I was at craft. Some hedge fund owners started to they started buying craft stock, and now you're talking millions. You started seeing this uptick. So who's buying this stock and why? Well, it got to the report that among the stockholders of the company, you start seeing this stuff. You start calling around, and finally you called a bunch of us stockholders got together. A big thing down in the cafeteria. Come! How many stockholders come down there? That thing. We're talking about that thing. We had a VP in there. Said, somebody's buying all the stock. They're paying premium money for the stock. What are they going to do? They're going to take over the company. They're going to take over the company. So what do? Let's call Miles. And we called Miles, and with Mike Miles, and they said, "Hey, we're seeing this our stock going up for no reason." And he looks at it. He said, "Yeah, we kind of like all voted for that. Our stock is overvaluable. Let's volunteer at asking them to cut our stock down. You know, sure, it's worth $100 a share. Let's make it $50 a share," which they did. They basically cut it's an overpriced stock, so we're cutting it down. Somebody took a bath on it. We took a bath on it? Well, not really. I mean, we still get the stuff. We're not selling our stock, so we didn't take a bath on it. They took a bath on it. That's the thing about mergers. When a hedge fund, decides to take over your company, and look out, they don't care. They're looking at their bottom line, and we're merging with you. They're not merging. They're going to cut all the waste. They're going to cut our jobs. They're going to get their millions, and we're going to get screwed. Dexter, we need you. But again, that's a merger and moving. No, that's a hostile takeover. There was a company called Borg and research in that. Hostile takeover of their stock, and they fought it. Basically, they fought not to be taken over and to be broken up. And they won, and it cost them $1 billion. A lot of jobs left. But I didn't own stock in the company, but I just knew about it. That's one of the things. Another company I worked at, it was taken over by another company, and they went in there and they slashed jobs. And you look at it now, it's a lot smaller jobs. A lot of buildings that used to be up on the property are no longer there. Literally, they not only slashed the jobs, but they tore down the building. And they're across the street from it, big company. They own this great big, they spent money building this thing. They had tunnels running between one building and the other thing. And those tunnels are now cemented up. Yeah. And the building was basically given to another company for tax reason. Boop. They gave it to a nonprofit who has sold the thing. As someone says, they're merging. And what happens? We lose jobs. They be down in the thing. What did you talk about? Another merging. Motorola. Not Motorola. That's an electronic place. Moviola, the green thing. It's a little green movie scopes, and the one for 35 millimeters thing. You've seen the old movies, that thing. Yeah. Moviola. They get taken over by a hedge fund operation. Talk about how you kill a company. They doubled the price on everything. So if you have a little movie scope that costs $50 today, it's $100 tomorrow. You get the rewinds at $25 each. They went to $50. You had a synchronizer unit, 16 or 35 millimeter, which a bunch of rolls, that doubled in price or even more. And everything I I happen to have this stuff. I've saved a lot of money. But the company like that, they just doubled things, and the sales just stop. Well, if the sales stop, you don't need salespeople. Salespeople go. They laid off some salespeople. Well, we're not having that stuff, so we don't need these engineers in back, do we? Machinists. They laid them off. And we don't need them. Oh, they got laid off. Bye. Things are not coming in. You got more of these people idle, standing around doing nothing. Well, let's get rid of them. That's what they did. And what did they do in the machine shops? They destroyed the dies, the patents. They sold off the tools. Big time. They sold the tools, they got rid of things. They literally destroyed the company within a year. Gone. Now can you find this stuff? Well, it just happens to do as they were doing that in their great move, because we're going to get rid of all these people and everything else. Video was coming out. Panasonic brought out their VHS and a little thing like that. So you had 16 millimeter film, right, which cost you, if you're going to get 2 hours, you get 5 rolls. You spend a couple of $1,000 for raw film, and then to develop it, and then a work print. And a Panasonic 2-hour tape that you put in a camera, record and everything else, costs $25 in the very beginning. Which is basically what they cost now, because they've been eliminated. Digital eliminated. But again, at that time, that company went, people switched to VHS. And mergers. Well, see, Mars is moving from Oak Park to Goose Island, and a lot of jobs are being left there. And jobs are being created in one place and being eliminated in another place. And that's not a merger, just a move. Sears Tower, remember Sears Tower in Chicago? They sold that when they moved out to Hoffman Estates and on a campus out there. There's a lot of people never left with them. Well, they moved. Jobs didn't move. The jobs were eliminated. Where's Sears now? The same place Kmart is. Gone. Even though I get notices from Sears and Kmart, I get emails for companies that don't exist. Must be something from China. Yes. Well, think of how many stores were put out of business by Walmart, or in the old saying, dollar stores. How many businesses were put out of business by dollar stores? You shop in a dollar store? Yeah. You can get that for $1.25. Oh, yes. There's a dollar store in my area. We're near a Kmart that went out of business. There's a dollar store right here. Right next door is a fruit market store. And how the fruit market store basically challenges the Brougt and the Jewel and Aldi store. Yeah, there's the challenges wherever you want to shop. Yeah, technology moves, businesses move, things move out of business. Chicago. My father worked for a company for all his life. Basically, out of the military directly into this company. He worked there all his life. The company moved. They figured the structure they were in is too old. The machinery is too old. And it was a lot easier to build a new plant. And since they were a candy company, technology has changed so dramatically. And contents of sugar. People say, well, we don't want more sugar in our candy. They said this, our machines are old. Our people here are old. We're moving to an area where we can bring up a barge of sugar from somewhere, and it can't be done here. So they simply move the plants somewhere else where they could bring in a barge of sugar, and it's candy is sugar. But they cut back. Non-sweet candy. That's interesting. Why do people eat candy for sweetness? But technology is changing. So, mergers moving. One doesn't kill you, the other one kills you. And they say, keep your resume handy. Keep it up. You can be replaced with that kid that just got out of college. He may not know anything, but we have all the information he can read. We've already put that. Well, when I was working at Kraft, we had these red books, and everything you did, you put down in the red book, and everything I did, I put down in the red book. All my operations, and when I left, when I left, that technology went to another part of the state. Yeah, it left with I forget his name, but he was in there. He was only get laid off. So what he did, he's copied down everything from R&D. And when he came into my lab, he said, "Well, where's all your books?" I said, "I don't know where my books are. Where's your big red book?" I think whatchamacallit has it, because I knew he wasn't going to go to my supervisor for that book because he was stealing all the information. But I can't say anything because I knew my job was at risk. And which is exactly what happened to my job. It went down in his place. But I wasn't going to give him that information ahead of time. Oh, no, no way. And because my job would have left a lot faster than it did. But hey, what am I going to do? Okay, that's my mergers and moving and mergers.